Hello everybody, it's Bizaah, and welcome to my Complete Beginner's Guide. Today, we'll be going over everything you need to know about how to get started on your adventure. I'll be explaining things such as the basics, all the way to things such as what certain stats do, what things are in the game, and what rarities they have. I'll also be explaining standard tributes, world boss events, dungeons, skill tree tips, and locations around the map. If you've only just started out in Project Star and you're not really sure what you need to do, or you're not understanding the systems as much as you'd want to, then this is the perfect guide for you. Okay, so I've just loaded up my alt account, and we are greeted by the beautiful Project Star menu screen. Anyway, so we're going to select New Game, and I'm just going to take you through the first quest or two. Okay, so the music on this game is really loud, and I'll presume that a lot of you want to turn it down. So what you want to do to do that is press M, go to the settings, and find music volumes here. You can change them to whatever you want. I also recommend changing SFX volumes to about half. So anyways, we're now here at the Speedwagon training facility, and there's quite a lot to do here. So first off, we'll have to make it to our first quest, which is on the absolute other side of the map. If you can see, we're on this side of the training facility, and we need to get all the way over there to that guy. Start off, we're going to press shift to shift lock, and we're going to start walking over there. Now, you might think this is a little bit slow to get over there, so if you press control, you'll start running. Now, if you still feel like you're going a little bit too slow, you can double tap W or any movement key to dash. Now, it is kind of annoying at first, but you'll get used to it. Okay, so we'll talk to the Speedwagon captain now. So, you can read this if you want. It's a pretty good story. I've played through the entire thing and found it quite enjoyable, but I'm going to skip through it. Okay, so the quest that was just given to us is to defeat Trainer Tom in a fist-to-fist fight. Now, to do this, you're going to need your fists. So open up your inventory, which you can do from M, pressing this toolbox. There's also the regular Roblox backpack shortcut. And you want to click on the item you want and put it into your hotbar. Now, this is your fist, and it will bring up like a fighting mode. As you can see, the controls for these are in the bottom right. And that is click punching and kicking. Now, kick acts as like a heavy hit, and light punches are obviously just like weaker, smaller punches that don't knock people away. Okay, so we're going to fight against Trainer Tom now, and as you can see, he's sort of kicking my ass, but we have quite a lot of health, so we should be alright. You want to hit him a few times, and then kick him. That'll knock him to the ground. You can also press F to block. As you can see, Trainer Tom is quite easy to take down. We've already got him to half health. Now, you can try and dash out of his attacks and keep a good distance from him, but I think it's just better to not waste time and just go for the kill. The combo I'm currently doing is 3 click punches into a kick, but you can do whatever you want. I'm sure regular click punches will do enough damage. And there we go. We've defeated Speedwagon Trainer Tom. So as you can see from that, we just leveled up. In the bottom left, you can see what level we are, which is level 3, and you can see what XP requirement we need to level up. I'm sure if you played these kinds of games, you'll understand the entire process, but if you don't, that's how it works. Every time you level up, you'll be rewarded with 2 skill points that you can use on your skill tree, but we'll talk more about that later. Okay, so let's return to the quest and figure out what he wants us to do. We're just going to skip through this. Speedwagon employee's going to come through, and he's going to be like, Captain, basically, we need Trainer Tom, right? But we've just kicked the absolute shit out of Trainer Tom. He's basically dead, right? Trainer Tom's just dead. So they're like, shit, man. They're gonna send me because I just kicked Tom's ass, or you in this case has just kicked Tom's ass. So they're like, you know what? We're gonna send you in instead. So the quest that they've given us is speak to the Speedwagon escort. Now there doesn't seem to be anything above anyone's heads that is yellow or orange. So we'll just have to look around and try and find it. But I already know where it is. I can show you where it is. It's this guy right here. So this is the Speedwagon escort. You need to click E on him. And he'll say, are you the guy I'm supposed to be taking to defeat Chaka? Yes. Okay, good. I've been waiting for someone to come for ages now. Talk to me when you're ready to go. You press 3 dots. You level up from that. Press E again. And then say you're ready to go. And then you'll go off. Now, this is technically a dungeon. So you'll be able to choose a difficulty. I'll speak more about this later. But for the sake of the tutorial, we'll play on easy mode. So it's quick and just done with. Okay, so now that we're inside Chaka's hangout, we'll need to defeat these thugs that he's got. They're sort of like little squishy NPCs that you can fight, and then we'll have to defeat Chaka himself, which is the boss of the dungeon. Now these guys do a lot more damage than Trainer Tom, so you're going to be slightly careful, but they're pretty easy. Chaka himself does a lot of damage, so you'll have to be very, very careful about him. But beating this quest is very worth it. It's the first main story mission, and you'll get a stand arrow at the end. Just try to keep him away from you and do your full combo. If he tries to attack, you can block his attacks pretty easily. He doesn't really have a block break option, so, you know, you're pretty safe on block. There we are. And then let's dash into Infinity War. There we go. We've defeated the quest, and it wants us to kill this final guy to actually finish it. And there we go, the final guy's dead. So as soon as he's despawned, the dungeon will say complete, and now we just gotta wait to be teleported out. As you can see, we are now back at the Speedwagon base, and we'd be ready to do our next quest, but before we do that, I recommend we get a stand. Now, from that Chaka quest, we managed to get a common stand arrow, and we're gonna use it. Just gonna get a stand, why not? And once you've used your arrow, you can press Q to bring out your stand. So I got Iggy's the Fool, and let's check its attributes. Now as you can see, the attribute it got is fast. I will explain what attributes are later, but that's pretty good. Now if you were interested in doing the extra story missions, which these are really, really good for getting XP, and I totally recommend you do them, you would speak to Captain Jones and go from there, but because I've done what I need to do, I'm just going to ignore that. But that's the basics over, and now we'll go into some of the important information. Okay, so now we're on to player stats. So if you ever want to upgrade your character's health, speed, defense, or whatever, you'll need to go to the skill tree, which is where you press M, go to the skill tree icon, and then click on character. Now the first stat I'm going to talk about here is merit, and this currently doesn't work, so I was really stupid for buying the entire thing. I recommend you don't buy this at all. But what it's meant to do is basically increase the rarity of stands and attributes you get. I still haven't really explained attributes, but that is what it is. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is health, probably the most important thing to know about. Of course, every time you upgrade one of these, you're going to get a certain amount of health. I forget how much it is, but it's something between 5 and 10 per each one. If I was to get these 3, that would give me 30 health. Now the second thing to look at is speed, and this will add a certain amount of speed onto your character's base movement speed. This will boost his walk speed and his running speed, and I believe it's by 2 walk speed in Roblox Studio terms. I can't entirely explain what 2 speed added is in distance, but just know that it does add some speed to your character. Speed number 5 on this adds at least 10 points of speed, which I think the default is 16, so you're getting quite a good speed bonus. And now for the last one of the 4 to talk about, defense. Defense is quite simple to explain, but understanding it is another story. World event has started as well, that's very bad timing. I'll talk about what that is later, but that's really helpful that that arrived. So for every defense node you get, you'll get 5% extra defense, and the calculation for how much defense you actually get is as follows. However much damage your opponent does, take away of the percentage of that damage depending on how many numbers this is. So this is 15, right? This is 5, 10, 15. Take away 15% from the damage the person's done, and you'll get the damage he's going to do to you. I recommend upgrading this a lot, maybe even to max, because this is very, very, very helpful. Okay, so now let's go into some of the subcategories. We'll start off with the criticals. This is mainly for players that want luck on their side. It basically increases the chance of critical hits, which are the blue damage indicators that do 1.5 times damage. It's probably pretty helpful to get these, but they are very, very, very expensive, so I decided I wouldn't. Okay, so the next important thing to talk about is regeneration. This will increase how much health you gain every second. I think this is extremely useful, so I got it to max straight away, and I do not regret my purchase, even though it's super expensive. I believe the way how it works is for every single one of these that you buy, you get 0.1 regeneration per second. So at the end of this, with the 10 that you get, you'll be getting 1 health per second, which matches up with how much health I gain. Okay, the next one to talk about is ragdoll resistance. It basically makes you get up quicker. I'm not really sure how useful that is, but it does stuff. And then in the defense tree as well, there is durability. This will make it so that you've got more block charges. These actually appear when you're blocking underneath your XP bar and health bar, and you'll see how many times you can block. And now for the last thing on the skill tree, dashing. This will basically increase the distance of you double tapping W or any other movement key. And while we're on the topic of talking about player stats, I say we talk about stand attributes. Now to check the attribute your stand has, it's quite simple. You need to go up to your profile button on the menu, click it, and then it'll tell you loads of information about yourself. On this profile, it has stuff as your level, available skill points to use, whatever your combat style is, which we'll talk about later, whichever stand you've got, whichever tribute you've got, whatever skin you have, whatever XP boost you have, luck boost, I don't know if you bought those game passes. Now currently my Star Platinum has an attribute of none, which means he doesn't get any bonuses, but I will quickly list off what, attributes do. So the way I categorize these is by tiers. We'd have tier 1 speed, tier 2 speed, tier 3 speed, tier 1 health, tier 2 health, tier 3 health, and so on. So for speed, these will be named fast as tier 1, speedy as tier 2, and supersonic as tier 3. These are the bonuses they give. For health, we have healthy, fit, and hearty. These are the bonuses they give. For defense, we have tough, durable, and invincible. For damage, we have strong and powerful, which only have tier 1 and tier 2, as tier 3 hasn't been added yet. And the last category, mixed, is a bit weird. It's basically either the jack of all trades, where you get a little bonus of every little thing, or you get a little decrease of every little thing. These are weak, coward, unfortunate, tragic, heroic, legendary, and godlike. And I talked about skins earlier. Basically, these are just like a reskin or different clothing items for whatever stand you've got. It doesn't exactly matter, but they are extremely rare, so having a skin is definitely worth keeping. Okay, I'm going to list off a few world bosses, where they spawn and what they drop. The first world boss is Hull Horse. Hull Horse has got 1,500 health, and his defense is 25%. His respawn time is apparently 8 minutes, which is false, as he is actually a world boss, so he will probably spawn every hour, but there's only a chance of him spawning every hour. To get his rewards, you'll have to do at least 15% damage to him, and the experience you'll get from him is about 25 to 50, and the cash you'll get from him is about 25 to 100. So it's pretty crap. But the drops he gives can be really good for any wannabe Emperor main. He's got a 75% chance of dropping nothing, and a 25% chance of dropping a broken mirror. If you use the broken mirror while having the Emperor equipped, you'll get an extra move, which is the Hanged Man, and it's a really, really good move. The next boss is Wammu of the Wind. Wammu spawns in the Gale Ruins, has 7,000 health, and has 50 defense, meaning he's very, very tanky. You need to do at least 10% damage to him to get the kill register, and you'll get 50 to 100 XP, and the cash is 50 to 200. Again, another pretty useless one. He's got a 5% chance of dropping the Asia Stone, he's got a 15% chance of dropping a Wammu Horn, and then the rest of the percentage is to the Wammu's headdress. And the last and final event boss is Tarkus the Dark Knight from part 1. Tarkus spawns at the graveyard, has 8,000 health and 75 defense, making him the strongest and hardest to kill character in the game, like as a world event. You need to do at least 10% damage to get their kill reward. He gives 25 to 100 XP. His cash is from 50 to 200. He has an 85% chance of dropping nothing, and a 15% chance of dropping his helmet, and his helmet is one of the best health items in the game, giving you 20 health when you equip it. I won't go too much into depth about the stands themselves, as it's quite fun to find them out for yourself, but if you really, really just want to know without getting the stand, just to see if you would like it when you get it, you can easily go on the Trello, which I will leave in the description. I will now list off the stands on the Trello, and I will probably tell you their percentage right next to it in editing, but I'm just going to say their name here. Okay, so let's start. Cream, Horus, the Emperor, the Fool, Judgment, Death 13, Tower of Grey, Anubis, Silver Chariot, Magician's Red, Hermit Purple, Hierophant Green, Star Platinum, Prime Star Platinum the World, and the World. These are all the stands that you can get from Arrows, and I can't think of any of them that would be bad. Before anybody in the comments says Tower of Grey is the literal best character in the game. I've got no idea what you're talking about. If you ever get it, make sure you keep it, as it's super rare and is probably about 0.001% chance of getting. But no matter what you get, the stand should still be usable for all the grinding you want to do. But if you are gonna, but if you're not the best at PvPing or PvEing, I recommend you get the Emperor, as it's pretty cheese. I'm going to quickly show you all of the shiny skins as well, just in case you accidentally get one and you're confused. These are all the shiny skins for the world. The names are OVA, Ruby, Shadow, Greatest High, Phantom, Spirit, and Void. These are all the skins for Star Platinum, Sea, Starburst, Nether, Retro, and Female. Personally, I actually have the Retro skin, which is pretty cool. For Magician's Red, it's Blue Flame, Blueberry, Dark Flame, Blizzard, and Jester. For Hierophant Green, it's Red, Purple, and Thanos. For Silver Chariot, it's Gold, Midnight, Paladin, and Possessed. For Judgment, it's Nightwalker and Inkmaster. For the Fool, it's OVA and Arctic. For Death 13, it's Mint, Bubblegum, and Nightmare. For Cream, it's Negative and Abyssal, which I think Negative is one of the coolest skins in the game by far. For the Emperor, it's Hypergun and Jackal. For Horus, it's Frostbite, Sub-Zero, and Female. For Tower of Grey, it's Firefly and Toxic. I actually own Firefly because I think it's funny. Sorry, I meant it's a really good stand. And Anubis' shinies are probably some of my favourite ones. Diamond Sword, Kyoku, and that's all he has, sadly. I wish they would make some more. Maybe like Zoro's like 3 swords, that'd be kind of sick. And now for the last character, Hermit Purple, he has Frost, Metal, Rose, and Overgrown. These are some really cool ones as well. So if you ever get any stands with these colour palettes, just know that it's a shiny and you probably want to keep it. Okay, I'm going to quickly go over all the items. I'll stop at ones of interest, but others that aren't too interesting, I'll just skip over. Okay, so the first 3 important arrows are the stand arrows. There are 3 to 4 different types of these, but you'll probably only see 3 of them as, you know, you're quite new to the game. The first one is a regular stand arrow, and this multiplies your luck by 1. The second is the unusual stand arrow, which multiplies your luck by 1.5 times. And the third one is the gleaming stand arrow, which buffs your luck by 2 times. The fourth one is one that can only be found at Darby Spin Wheel, which I'll talk about later in locations. And this buffs your luck by 100 times. The Rokaka fruit, which you'll find quite a few of, is used to remove your stand if you want to change it. The second item on the list is the Stone Mask. You use this to get the Vampire Fighting style. And the Vampire Fighting style has got like 3 different moves. It's pretty cool. I actually have it in my storage slot, and it's very helpful to get. The third item is a Meteor Fragment, which spawns from a meteor. You'll hear an odd fire sound followed by an explosion. You want to go out into the desert and look for it. These currently do nothing, but I bet you in the future they will be used for either crafting arrows or making Requiem arrows. And the last 2 items on this list are Wanu's Horn and the Red Stone of Asia. These are boss drop items and dungeon drop items, and are very rare. All of the arrows, except for the Curse Stand arrow, the Rokaka fruit, the Stone Mask, and the Meteor Fragment can be found in the main game world. If you take the Meteor Fragment off that list, you can find all of those just by walking around the town. And here are 2 of the maps to show you where the map kind of locations are, because I don't have the time at the moment to be going over to every single location and telling you how to get there, so here they are. Now, the only skill tree tips I can really give is just try not to waste your skill points, as they really do matter. If you're new and you're not good enough to fight with just your M1 clicks and you rely on special abilities, I recommend you putting it into, you know, stand. If you have a spec, you can easily put into that skill tree and unlock those moves. But I do prefer to put stuff into my own character, as I do think it helps me more than putting it into my stand. Of course, eventually I'll go more into depth about other things on this channel, but for now that's all I'm going to talk about. But it'd probably be best for me to end off this video here, as that's all you really need to know. Oh shit. Fuck! Holy shit! Oh my god, where the fuck did you come from? Okay, I think we're pretty hidden now. Right. They finally found me though. The YBA goons, they want me to make more videos even though I'm banned. Oh. Anyway, this has been Bizaah, and that's all for today.